Starting today with breaking news out of North Park, where a large tree just fell onto a house. This happened around 3:30 this morning in the 2200 block of Q Terrace. Look at the size of this tree. Video just coming into our newsroom here.
Yeah, you're looking at the branches. Look, those are the roots and the big trunk. Part of the tree also landing right there on that SUV or truck, it looks like. So yeah, the branch is going through the windows, the rooftop. Not clear if anybody was inside that house at the time or if any injuries were reported. We're still working to get information from the scene, but obviously that's a lot of damage. Scary sight to wake up to at 3:30 in the morning. We'll update you as soon as we get more information.
We are pleading with them to get out of their homes and into shelter, hotels, so that they are safe.
This morning, many communities across San Diego are breathing a sigh of relief after no catastrophic flooding this week. We did see a lot of ponding and some, flooding out there. Local officials are warning communities across San Diego just to stay alert. And this comes as San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is expected to lift an evacuation warning for those people living in flood-prone areas. Thanks for being here at 6 a.m. on this Friday. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Netta Irampur. So this comes as the recent floods have created major health crisis in the South Bay. A lot of issues have come from this. We have team coverage for you this morning. CBS 8's Regina Yorita live in Mountain View with what officials there say people need to prepare for. And CBS 8's Chris Groh is live at the Imperial Beach Pier to tell us what doctors are seeing among many patients there. But first, CBS 8's meteorologist Evan Narani is tracking the conditions right now. Evan, still raining, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we just heard it come down here in Kearney Mesa. There are some scattered showers that are coming down with a good amount of intensity out there. You can see, however, how much more scattered and sporadic the activity is from Santa Barbara all the way down through the Bight. Much less uniform and widespread than what we were looking at 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, it was just a blob of green. Now you've got these specks of green that are covering the screen. But again, some of these cells have a good amount of intensity to them, capable of dropping maybe a tenth of an inch over the course of 15-20 minutes and then moving on. So we're going to keep watching for these scattered sporadic showers over the course of the day-to-day. Temperatures on the cooler side of average. A lot of wind out there, palm fronds on the ground, pooling and ponding of the water. There is still some wet weather to get through. Then we dry over the course of the weekend, and then we gear up for storm number 2 next week. We're going to dive into the details in just a bit. Of course, many breathing a sigh of relief without any major flooding that we saw over the course of the day yesterday. Local officials, though, still warning that people be prepared, especially with a second storm on the way. CBS 8's Regina Yorita live in Mountain View this morning with what Mayor Todd Gloria wants you to do. Regina?
Yeah, good morning, Evan. And look, it's definitely a different picture compared to what we were looking at last week. Now, we did experience a heavy downpour, but to clarify, nothing major compared to a January storm. While many are grateful, especially here in this area, they're still questioning the city why it took them this long for them to get proactive.
They took care of it in 2 days. They took care of this whole section. Something that could have been done 30, 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
And yesterday we did see more widespread rain, and it brought concerns of even more flooding, but the city says the system was far less severe than the one that hit last week. Mayor Gloria, along with other city officials, say last week was a once in a 1,000-year storm. However, he reminded residents to remain vigilant and to prepare for more rain, noting that more precipitation is still in the horizon with another storm coming next week. As far as residents, although they're pleased to know city crews cleaned up the storm channels, you can imagine the frustration they feel as many are still dealing with last week's devastation. Some saying this could have been prevented and it should have been done months ago, actually. So back out here again, we're trying to see if any neighbors or any residents are coming back from that evacuation warning. We'll keep you guys updated once that evacuation warning is lifted by Mayor Todd Gloria. But again, nothing compared to last week, although the ground is saturated and it's muddy. We didn't see major flooding we didn't see major flooding like last week's rainstorm. That's latest here in Mountain View neighborhood. I'll send things back to you guys.
The streets behind Regina almost look dry there. Thank you very much, Regina. Remember, keep up with the latest weather conditions and alerts, even when you're on the go. Download the free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the Apple App Store. And a major health crisis now this morning hitting the South Bay yet again. This morning, doctors say they're seeing an unprecedented amount of people with gastrointestinal illness. They suspect sewage overflow from Mexico is to blame.
Well, as we know here, the sewage problem gets worse after a rainstorm. CBS 8's Chris Groh live in Imperial Beach with more on what the doctors have to say about all of this. Chris?
Yeah, good morning. And I should point out, this is actually patients that they're seeing because of last week's rain. That's not even including the patients we will likely see from this week's rain and then next week's rain. So they want people to really become aware of what it is that they are seeing when this cross-border pollution begins to flow here after we get some of this heavy rain, especially during this wintertime. In fact, they're saying that they have seen a 200% increase here in patient intakes. And so what these people are complaining about are largely gastrointestinal issues. They say that some of the symptoms could be anything from, again, stomach pains, abdominal cramping, vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes even bloody stools. Now, this is a pair of doctors that are in an urgent care facility that they work sometimes a lot with these people, but they've also been putting this data together to prove that correlation there between the people coming in with stomach problems and that cross-border pollution. But their big concern is not just the immediacy of this, but also the future, what we can see in the future, because this isn't just from people going into the water. This is also contamination that we're finding in the air.
It's very concerning, and when we don't have healthy air, we don't have healthy water. When it rains, there's sewage in the water, people get sick. We know that pattern. That's the known, but what about the unknown?
Yeah, you heard her there talking about what is the unknown, and that's what they're hoping some researchers, as well as their research, their data collection, will hope to point out. Now, here's the thing. They're saying that it takes about 10 days, anywhere from a couple days to 10 days for symptoms to begin to become present, and that for anyone living in and around this area to simply just continue to be vigilant about washing your hands, not going into the water directly after a rain event, and that's just trying to make sure you're practicing, again, those basic hygiene practices. Eric and Netta.
This morning, Feeding San Diego has rescheduled a large food distribution because of yesterday's storm. Instead, the event will now take place this Monday. The location is the same, starts at 10 a.m. on Monday. Flood victims in need of food should line up with their cars at the Faith Chapel parking lot on 9400 Campo Spring Road. That is in Spring Valley. Attendees will receive 40 pounds of ready-to-eat food, vegetables, and fruit. They have enough supplies for about 750 households. But even that event being moved to Monday may also see some wet showers too.
Right. Could be rainy Monday morning.
Yes, so it'll be rainy pretty much all next week.
All next week.
That's storm number 2 coming our way.
Yeah.
So scattered showers today, dry weekend, and then another storm coming next week. Take a live look outside. Cloud cover is pretty decent out there. Depends on where you are, because there are a couple spots that are seeing at least some partial clearing. I don't want anyone to be overly concerned, but I don't think there's any way to emphasize enough that we are looking at a lot of rain coming for next week. Most of our models show that for next week, parts of LA County and Orange County could be dealing with 8 to 10 inches of rain. We here in San Diego are looking at closer to about 4 to 8 inches. That's a lot of rain for us. We do not see 4 to 8 inches of rain really in any stretch over the course of 4 days in San Diego, especially on the heels of several major storms. So light rain is going to start up as we head through Sunday afternoon and evening. Low confidence in that. Right now it looks like up around North County we could start to see some trickles of rain come down. The moderate to heavy rain is going to come Monday to Tuesday. Monday evening in particular, so Monday morning might be on a little bit of the lighter side. Then Wednesday, Thursday, and now possibly even Friday, we're still going to watch as more showers come through. So it looks like next week's storm is just going to tap into subtropical moisture, basically turn on the fire hose and let it linger all the way through next week. Rain chances lull for Saturday, Sunday. There's the break in the wet weather, and then take a look at Monday through Thursday. Tapering off a bit, meaning that heavier rain is expected Monday, Tuesday, and then still above a 50% chance for Wednesday, Thursday. Why is it called the Pineapple Express and Atmospheric River? Well, look at it. This is this atmospheric moisture tracker from the Hawaii area. We're watching as all of that moisture streams across the Pacific, and then as we get toward Northern California going into next week, and then Southern California, we'll watch as those accumulations climb steadily. So enjoy the dry weekend. In the meantime, we are going to have that rain coming back onshore as we get into Monday. But otherwise today, scattered showers, mostly dry into Saturday, mostly dry into Sunday. Let's take a look at traffic. It's 6:09 right now. So far, your roads are quiet out there. Luckily, there are a couple spots where we're still seeing some minor flooding, pooling, ponding on the roadways. Green on there showing wet roads. So just keep track of that this morning. Still reduce your speeds. Watch for vehicles around you. Same kind of drill you practiced yesterday. Take a look at border wait times out the door right now. 40-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry, 60-minute, an hour total at the Otay Mesa Port of Entry. Coming up, we'll take a look at that second storm again. We'll talk about our rain totals, and we will look at that 8-day forecast. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Evan, getting us ready for all these storms. Coming up next, the statewide consequence after 200 prisoners rioted in Riverside.
Plus, what Poway Unified School District just did to the superintendent after she was accused of bullying students and her response. And why right now there's snow place like the slopes. We'll be right back.